back. He's the head coach of the fifth-ranked team in the country, Curt Cignetti, the Indiana football coach. They got the win against Michigan. Next game, Ohio State. That will be not this weekend. They have a bye week, and then the weekend after that. How much did you celebrate on Saturday, Coach?
Well, we had 18 people in the house. My youngest of three got engaged after the game on the field. So there was a lot of cause for celebration. And, of course, you know how it is. You get home after all that and watch a little football on TV, and by 8 o'clock, your bed is calling.
Lights out. Okay.
No, I think we made it to 10.
Okay. What if you had lost? Was your son going to still get engaged?
It was my daughter.
Oh, your daughter.
Yeah, we had with the groom-to-be, we had that discussion Friday night. I told him I was confident we would win. They had it set up on the scoreboard. I said, but if we don't, we'll get home and everybody will have a good time after a drink, and you got to do it. So it probably wouldn't have happened on the field, obviously.
Fourth quarter got a little dicey there.
Second half, really. I mean, we should have distanced ourselves in the second quarter. Went in with a 14-point lead, but we really had two opportunities to score touchdowns there. Misfired on a couple throws on one drive. Went for it on fourth, didn't make it. The next one, we made a play down to the one called for offensive pass interference. I didn't like that call at all. But it was what it was, and we didn't make the plays offensively we normally made. And Michigan stiffened up. They got a good team. They got a good defense. Our defense did a great job keeping them out of the end zone, and big punt return at the end of the game by Keyshawn Williams, and found a way to get it done. If you're going to be a championship team, you're going to go through a game like that where you just got to find a way to get her done.
How much of your job when you first got there was convincing, whether it was players, fans, boosters, that you could win? We will win.
No, that's where it all begins. A place like this that hadn't had success. You got to change the way people think inside and outside the program. And, it was very evident to me day one when I got here within 10, 15 minutes, sort of the hopelessness and despair permeating the program. And then went up, talked to the Big Ten Network up in Indy around noon, and could detect it a little bit there too. Come back, team meeting. You got 7 or 8 guys not here. By the basketball game that night at 7, I was pretty pissed. You had two worlds colliding. We'd won 5 straight championships, brought most of my staff, and then this other world that doesn't think can get it done. So, I had to get them excited, and I went out on a limb and said a few things. I haven't done that in the past. But I wasn't going to lower my expectation level. And I had to wake these people up and find out if the fan base was dead or just on life support, so to speak. And so approached this one a little bit differently. And, it all came together in December with 22 transfers, because we had 10 offensive starters in the transfer portal my first day here, half the defense. And I didn't know that when I took the job. So we had a lot of work to do. But I really felt in my heart like we flipped the roster, that signing date in December. And very optimistic about what we could get done. And, winter went well, spring went well, summer went well, fall camp. Still got to put it on the field.
The Purdue sucks night, how did that go over at home?
Well, I think my wife was in town still. Yeah, that was day one. It got people talking, a lot of social media reaction. And, I did it, and it came from the hip. Honestly, but I think it was a combination of just what I was feeling in the environment regarding the perception of Indiana football. And I wasn't going to stand for it because that's not what I was about.
Well, if you would have said Ohio State sucks, that probably would have resonated a little bit better. Have you thought about saying that?
Well, I actually did after I said Purdue sucks. I said, but so do Ohio State.
Oh, that's right. I think it was hard to hear because of the crowd.
That's where the tree branch got a little thinner.
So you were out there all alone on that branch there.
I was out there pretty good.
Why did it take this long? It's like it took decades to become an overnight sensation, even though you had really great stop, James Madison. Everywhere you've gone, you've won. Why did it take this long to get into, I guess, major college football?
Probably because of the path I took. I was hitting the big 5-0. I was with Coach Saban after my fourth year, and I was just done being an assistant coach. I always wanted to be a head coach. Wasn't a coordinator. Had been passed over a couple times, and wasn't going to be a 60-year-old assistant coach. So, I mean, I went to D2. I took big pay cut. I had two girls in high school, wanted to be doctors. I mean, I bet on myself. It was a huge risk. I woke up many a morning wondering what I did. But we had family in this particular town, Indiana, Pennsylvania. My wife's number 9 of 10, and my parents were still there. And, we were there 6 years, and, I didn't take that job thinking, okay, this is where I'm wanting to go. Now, at a young age, I always wanted to do it, and then we moved on to another place that had similar success to this one previously, turned that thing around real quick year one. And then the JMU thing, and I was happy there. I'd been fine retiring there, good fan support, win a lot of games. Indiana called. I felt the commitment level from Scott Dolson, the AD, President Witten. They wanted to change this thing, and it was important that football be successful in this day and age because 90% of athletic revenue across the country comes from football now. And the Big Ten TV contract obviously caught my eye. I figured I'd done this turnaround a couple times before. Let's do it on a little bigger stage. So I don't know why it took so long, but I really wouldn't change my journey for any other journey. It made me who I was and brought me where I belong.
What's your favorite Nick Saban story that you tell?
No, I probably couldn't tell that on air, but I learned so much.
Wait. How is there a story about Saban that you, like something happened at the lake house or?
No, and I said this on game day, like when you have high standards, you can never compromise your standards regardless of any situation or circumstance, right? Because the program's all about a process, standards, expectation level, accountability. So, somebody had asked about me stalking the sideline in the fourth quarter when we're up 4 or 5 touchdowns. What a maniac I become. And, it reminded me of my days back with Coach. Like we'd be way up on a team in the fourth quarter and I'd be getting my freaking ass ripped, on the sideline because I was the closest guy to him. At that time, I really didn't get it. Like, you know what I mean? And I remember him telling me one time, I said something like, oh, come on. We were up like 42 points. He goes, you don't know nothing. And you know what? I didn't know nothing. But now as a leader, being in that situation now many a time, I get it. I totally get it. You can never lower your standards because that becomes a habit too.
How much have you watched of Ohio State?
Not a whole lot. I'll probably watch some of them when we get off here. We watched our game tape this morning, brought staff in a little later, game off yesterday. We'll slow cook them this week, with the basics, but really dig deep Sunday as a staff. I like that sense of urgency of preparation during the week. I don't want to get too far ahead in the off week.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you want to have an off week as opposed to, like, would you prefer to play Ohio State this weekend as opposed to having a bye week?
Well, I mean, the schedule is what it is, but the off week is not a bad thing for us right now coming off of Michigan. We got some guys banged up a little bit. There were some big hits in that game. I think we're going to come out of it pretty good. I think the off week will be good.
What's the coolest thing you have in your office?
Oh, I got this baseball bat my agent gave me that's branded that I can knock people across the head if I don't like what's going on, but I haven't had to do that yet. This office is pretty bare and basic. It's big. I guess I was just so darn busy when I got the job here. Like, it was so much to do. What's the coolest thing we got in the office? He don't know.
There's room for
It's not like yours. You're like my brother-in-law. You got all these knickknacks, cool places you've been, experiences you've had. You got Bobby looks like there, huh?
That's Lou Holtz right here.
Oh, that's Lou?
At Arkansas.
Okay. Yeah, what are you going to do now? Yeah, beat Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl with all those guys suspended.
Lou Holtz, yeah.
He's a great one.
Yeah. Yeah, they put their pants on the same way we do.
Good speaker, man. He had some good.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He'd be on the Tonight Show and he'd be telling jokes there to Johnny Carson. It's like, He was a stand-up act. Hey, congrats so far, and great story. Good luck against Ohio State, and smile, relax, enjoy this a little bit, Coach. You deserve it.
I'm enjoying being with you.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach. That's
Okay.
Curt Cignetti, the Indiana football coach. So they're undefeated. They're ranked 5th in the country. They squeaked by Michigan. They got Ohio State. Then they play Purdue after Ohio State.